The only history that's worth a damn is the history we make today. Welcome to McBain Moments. And with those concise words, Henry Ford pretty much encapsulated what is important in order to build yourself into something new. See, Henry Ford started with just about nothing. He was dirt poor, and yet he built Ford Motor Company. He innovated in ways that we take for granted today. He was the first person to build an 8-cylinder, or his company was the first to build an 8-cylinder engine on a single block, which to us doesn't mean very much because all 8-cylinder engines are built on a block now, and most of us don't care much about the interior of cars. But at the time, that was a huge innovation. And keep in mind, during his time period, things like 8 and 12-cylinder engines were common compared to today, whereas we keep trying to make engines smaller now, more efficient. Back then they were looking for power because, well, they didn't really have much to start with. And so the allegory here is that he wanted bigger, he wanted better. And he did so with a starting point that was very, very low. So if Henry Ford can do it, why can't everyone else? And I think the main reason that most of us find ourselves spinning our wheels, to kind of move along the allegory, is we look around at the situation we're in now, and despite other factors, we're comfortable with it. We're comfortable with where we are. This is what we know. This is what we've always known. This is what our friends do. This is what our family's like. And so what ends up happening is we end up repeating the past. And I'm not saying that what you do as a vocation is necessarily bad. In most cases it's not, unless you're a criminal, and then, come on guys, clean yourself up. But if you're a truck driver or a warehouse worker, or you work in retail or other blue-collar worker, stereotypical blue-collar work, there's no shame in that. There's absolutely no shame in that. We need people to do those jobs. That being said, there are still ways to improve your circumstances. And I would almost say that it's your duty to do so. I've been listening to a lot of Grant Cardone, so his words are kind of roll around in my mind, but it's your duty to look at the situation you're living in now and try to figure out, okay, not in spite of, but maybe because of the things I do, what can I do to make my situation better? Can I work harder at my job? Can I do more in order to try to get that next promotion? Can I show them that I am the best employee they've got? Maybe, and I know that a lot of people have employment loyalty, and that's good. You need that. But what if you're not being treated well where you are? Is there another job in your industry at a better company? So that when you come home, you're not dead tired. You're still doing the same job. Doesn't take a whole lot of extra training when you move companies if you're doing the same job. But you have more time for your family, your children if you have them. So look at the situation you're in and say, okay, I am at this point. What's the next step? What is my next goal? And then if you have to, talk to people. Talk to your boss. Talk to someone you trust. It's like, okay, I'm here. What will it take for me to get to that next step? And if they're a good leader or mentor, they'll say, okay, you're at this point. The next step would be X, and here's how you get there. Or they may say, look, you're at this point. The next step would be X, but here are the obstacles. We don't have a slot. You're missing a qualification. There's the length of time of people that work in that area is very long term. Or in some cases, maybe you've hit the ceiling of the company. I mean, obviously the ceiling is ownership or the CEO or whatever, but from a practical standpoint, there is a limit to any corporate ladder, whether you're in a small company or a large one. And that's the point where you have to go, okay, I'm at the proverbial ceiling. What would be my next step? And then you have to maybe do a lateral, maybe trying to think there was another term for it. It's not stepping down when you're doing it for positive reasons. Realignment. You may have to realign and learn a new position that may involve a pay cut, but in the long term, it's beneficial to you. So whenever you're looking at things and you get discouraged, think about it. Think about what your next step is. Think about who you need to talk to make it there. And then have the courage to take the step. Ford had another quote that I really like, and it's, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. And so what you need to do is you need to formulate a plan and then go out there and do it. No matter what your vocation, no matter what obstacles you may have in your way, there's always a way forward. Sometimes it takes help, sometimes it takes a mentor, sometimes it means going back to school, but there's always a way forward. Find the way. Find the way and keep on that journey. But whatever you do, don't stop. Because when you stop, you give up, you get comfortable. And that is where most of us live. Comfortable. Comfortable and angry. Don't get comfortable and angry. It may be uncomfortable, but you'll be a lot happier the higher you climb. And we can all climb. Now go out there and do it. This has been a McBain moment.